Hello, good morning, dear students. Welcome to Interactive Virtual Class Nagaland once again. So, students, we will continue with the same chapter, that is conservation of plants and animals. In our previous class, we have briefly discussed on how the endemic species became endangered. Endemic species are those species which are found in a particular area. Yes, students, and we have also discussed what is endangered. Endangered meaning they are at the verge of this extinction. The species of an organisms which are disappearing from the earth. Okay, so why this endemic species became endangered? We have discussed that it is due to deforestation, that is destroying their habitats. The second point we discussed in the previous class is over exploitation of natural resources, over harvesting, over hunting for food, yes, or over harvesting of marine fishes will also make the endemic species to become endangered. Another point is alien species invasion. Okay, besides deforestation and overexploitation, this point alien species invasions also causes endemic species to become endangered. Now, what is alien species invasion? Let us see with an example. Okay, so in Lake Victoria, okay, the small fishes that we can see here, okay, the small fishes that we can see here, these fishes are known as chitlid fish. Okay, chitlid fishes. Now these fishes, the small fishes are endemic to Lake Victoria. There used to be lots and lots of chitlid fish in Lake Victoria. Okay, but as they introduced this new species known as Nile perch, this new species of fish was introduced to Lake Victoria. Then let us see what happens. This Nile perch, they start feeding on these small fishes called the chitlid fish. Now we see that slowly the number of chitlid fish decreases. Okay, slowly the number of these chitlid fish decreases in Lake Victoria, and that is how these fishes, okay, which are endemic to Lake Victoria became endangered when the new species, that is the Nile perch, were introduced into Lake Victoria. These small fishes called the chitlid fish became endangered. It is because the Nile perch, they start feeding on the small fish called the chitlid fish. So that is one example of alien species invasion. Another example we have here is these plants. Okay, here this plant lantana, and the second plant we have is the Parthenium. Okay, these are also alien species. They are exotic plants. So when they were introduced, okay, when they were introduced to India, these species, they start outgrowing. Okay, they outgrow the numbers, the species of other plant species in the particular area. So the plants which were endemic, okay, which were endemic to India forest, were replaced by this species of plants. Okay, so here we see that when we introduce new plants, or when we introduce exotic plants known as the alien species, sometimes they will disturb the ecosystem. Okay, sometimes they will disturb the ecosystem, and they will replace the plant species which were endemic to a particular area. So this is known as alien species invasion. So due to introduction of new species, due to introduction of exotic species, some of the endemic species have also become endangered. Okay, so we have discussed 3 points, that is deforestation, overexploitation, and alien species invasion. Because of these 3 factors, the endemic species have become endangered. So remember these 3 points, all right? Another example we have here is the water hyacinth. Okay, water hyacinth is also another example of, okay, water hyacinth is also another example of alien species invasion. Now this plant, you must have this plant in water bodies, in a lake, in a pond. This plant, water hyacinth, although the flower is beautiful, it is considered as a invasion species. It is because it grows rapidly. Now when it grows, we see that this plant will cover the whole pond. Yes, so it covers the whole pond, it forms a canopy, it does not allow, okay, the sunlight to pass through the water. So the other species which lives underwater, okay, other plant species which lives under water may not get sufficient sunlight to grow. So this is also another example of invasion or invasive species, okay, because they affect the ecosystem, the growth of other plant species. Alright students, so we have here reserve forest. So what is reserve forest? Students, have you ever heard of reserve forest? Do you have reserve forest in your villages or in your towns, in your area? Yes, right? We have conserved or reserve forest in our villages. Yes, students, so let us see what is reserve forest. This designated forest with many other natural areas that have judicial protection based on the legal system. Okay, so reserve forests are the designated forests with many other natural areas that have judicial protection based on the legal systems. They include national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. We also have a reserve forest in Nagaland known as the Rangapahar Reserve Forest, which is located in Dimapur. Okay. Now, we have here Satpura National Park. Now, if you remember, we have visited Pachmari Biosphere Reserve in our previous classes. Yes, so Satpura National Park is the first reserve forest of India. Remember this, okay? Satpura National Park is the first reserve forest of India. Now next, let us see what is wildlife sanctuary. Under reserve forest, we have seen that it includes many other areas like national park, wildlife sanctuary. So what is wildlife sanctuary? Let us see. Wildlife sanctuaries are protected areas which provide protection and suitable living conditions to wild animals. Okay, they are protected areas which provide protection and suitable living conditions to wild animals. People living in wildlife sanctuaries are allowed for certain activities like grazing livestock, collecting medicinal plants and firewood. Okay, so for wildlife sanctuaries are protected areas which provide suitable living condition for the animals, for the wild animals. But the people living in wildlife sanctuaries are also allowed for certain activities like grazing livestock, collecting medicinal plants and firewood. But activities like hunting, poaching, all those are restricted, all those are not allowed. Okay. Example of wildlife sanctuaries: Chakrashila Wildlife Sanctuary. Now students, can you give me some examples of wildlife sanctuary from Nagaland? Yes students, we have Fakim Wildlife Sanctuary. Yes, we have Fakim Wildlife Sanctuary which is located in Peren. Yes. Oh sorry, which is located in Kifiri. Yes. Fakim Wildlife Sanctuary is located in Kifiri. We have Pulebadze Wildlife Sanctuary which is located in Kohima, and we also have Singfan Wildlife Sanctuary which is located in Mon. Okay, so this is what wildlife sanctuary means. Alright students, we have the first question for today. Please get your rough devices ready. The question is, which of the following activities is not allowed in wildlife sanctuaries? Okay, I'm giving you 30 seconds for this question. Your time starts now. Which of the following activities is not allowed in wildlife sanctuaries? Option A is limited grazing by livestock. Option B is hunting and poaching. Option C is collecting firewood. Option D is collecting medicinal plants. So which of the following activities is not allowed in wildlife sanctuaries? Alright students, your time is up. Now we have seen that in wildlife sanctuary they allow limited grazing of livestock. Collecting firewood is also allowed. Collecting medicinal plants is also allowed. But hunting and poaching is not allowed. Okay. So the correct answer for this question is option B, that is hunting and poaching. Alright students, let us proceed. National Park. So what is National Park? National Park are the protected areas that preserve flora, fauna, landscape and historic objects of that area. Okay, historic objects of that area. local people are not allowed to use resources from the forest, from the national park. Okay, example is Kaziranga National Park. Now, can you tell me, is there any national park in Nagaland? Yes, students, is there any national park in Nagaland? Yes, right? We have Intanki National Park, which is in Peren. Okay, so national parks are protected areas that preserve flora, fauna, landscape, and historic objects of that area. Local people in this area, okay, are not allowed to use the resources from the national park. So differentiate between wildlife sanctuaries and national park. In wildlife sanctuary, okay, it is mainly its main focus, or it emphasizes on providing protection and providing suitable living condition for wild animals, whereas in national parks it protects all flora, fauna, landscape, and historic objects of that area. In wildlife sanctuaries, certain activities, human activities like grazing of livestock, collecting medicinal plants, collecting firewoods are allowed. But in national park, local people, okay, no such activities like collecting firewood or making use of the resources are not allowed in national park. Example is, we have Kaziranga National Park. One example from Nagaland will be Intanki National Park, which is located in Peren. Okay, an example of wildlife sanctuaries include Fakim Wildlife Sanctuary, which is located in Kifiri. We have Pulebadze Wildlife Sanctuary, which is located in Kohima. So Alright students, so we have seen what is wildlife sanctuary and what is national park. So let us answer another question. Students, please get your rough devices ready. The question is areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the habitat and natural resources is called as which of the following? So I'm giving you 15 seconds for this question. Your time starts now. Areas reserved for wildlife where Alright students, so we have this question: areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the habitat and natural resources is called as. The correct answer for this question is option B, that is national park. Okay, here the animals can use the habitat and natural resources freely. The human or the local people are not allowed to use any resources from this area. Alright students, let us continue. Project Tiger. Okay, so what is Project Tiger? Yes students, Tiger Conservation Program launched by Indian government on April 1, 1973. Okay, Project Tiger is a tiger conservation program launched by Indian government on April 1, 1973. This project aims at ensuring a viable Bengal tiger population in its natural habitats, thereby protecting and preserving diversity of ecosystem across tigers range in the country. So the population of tiger in India decreases slowly over the years. Okay, so in order to protect and preserve the population of this tiger, this Project Tiger is a tiger conservation program launched by Indian government. So here we have the picture of Bengal tiger. Okay, population of some animals are diminishing and they might face extinction. These organisms that are facing extinction are said to be endangered. Alright students, we have another question. Please get your rough devices ready. The question is: Tiger Conservation Program was launched by Indian government on. We have four options. I'm giving you 20 seconds for this question. Your time starts now. Tiger Conservation Program was launched by Indian government on. Option A is April 1, 1974. Option B, April 1st, 1973. Option B, April 1st, 1983. And option D, April 1st, 1984. Yes, students, very good. The correct answer is option B, that is April 1st, 1973. Tiger Conservation Program was launched by Indian government on April 1st, 1973. Do you know? Okay. Rock shelters are found in Satpura National Park which have evidences of prehistoric human life. So here we see drawings on stone, right? In the cave we have this painting. So there are evidences that people used to live, okay, the prehistoric human life. People used to live in the Satpura National Park. There are evidences that many years ago people used to live in Satpura National Park. So here we have some evidences in rock shelters, okay. Threat to wildlife. Now we have been discussing about wildlife, flora and fauna. So what are causing threat to wildlife? Let us see. Here we see people killing one rhinoceros. Yes, so this is known as poaching. What is poaching? Poaching is the illegal hunting, killing of wild animals for valuable raw materials. Okay, this is known as poaching. So poaching is a threat to wildlife. What is poaching? Poaching means illegal hunting, killing of wildlife animals for valuable raw materials. So for this example, one horned rhino, we killed them. Yes, students, we killed them to take this. Yes, for other purposes because these are valuable. So illegal hunting or killing of animals for valuable raw materials is known as poaching. Another threat to wildlife is hunting. What is hunting? Hunting is killing of wild animals or birds as sports or for food. Okay, we have discussed in a previous class that before, okay, the passenger pigeon was hunted by people as a sport, but due to overexploitation, due to overhunting of the passenger pigeon, now it has become extinct. So killing of wild animals or birds as sports or food is called hunting, and this hunting is also a threat to wildlife. Another one is capturing. Capturing of animals is also a trend. Here we see dogs being captured, birds being captured. Now people capture these animals for selling purposes. Yes, so this capturing of animals is also a threat to wildlife. So we have threat to wildlife, poaching, hunting, capturing. These are threat to wildlife. Killing or poaching and capturing of animals is prohibited. Ecosystem and its components. Okay, now we have discussed about what is ecosystem. Yes, so ecosystem consists of both. Okay, it consists of two factors, that is abiotic or known as physical factors, and biotic or biological factors. So ecosystem consists of two components, that is abiotic components and biotic components. Abiotic components are also known as the physical factors. These abiotic components are non-living components, whereas biotic or biological factors are living components. So ecosystem consists of two components, that is abiotic and biotic. So let us see some of the components. Forest is one of the components. Now within the forest we will find different components, right? Here we see tiger feeding on there. So these animals, different animals, plants and animals, they are living. Yes, so they make up the biotic factors or the biological factors. Here we have plants. Now, we have fruits. Now, when the fruits, okay, it decompose. Here it is rotting. Now, on rotting, it undergoes decomposition. Now, when it decomposes, it turns to manure. There is production of biomass from the dead plants and animals. So these dead plants and animals, they make up the abiotic components. Okay, when they are living, when they are alive, they form the biotic components, but when they die, they undergo decomposition to form biomass. So biomass is an example of abiotic components. Food chain. What is food chain? Food chain is a process in which one animal or one organism feeds on the other organism. Okay, food chain is a linear network. So this one, let us see. This bunny or rabbit, it feeds on the grass. Bunny or the rabbit is eaten by this eagle. So this one is linear. Yes, one line, one animal or one organism feeding on another organism. So here we see that this is called food chain. Now when we look at this overall, okay, we see that the grass is eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by lizard or chameleon, then this lizard are eaten by vulture or eagles. And here we have the plants are eaten by rats, rats are eaten by snake, snake are eaten by eagles. So here we see that all these organisms, okay, they depend on one another for their food. It is not simply one line, yes, but it is in web. So this overall system is known as food web. Okay, so this food chain is also a part of the ecosystem. And we have another example, which is the nutrient cycle. Nutrient cycle is also a part of ecosystem. Here we see that oxygen, this atmospheric oxygen, is taken in by the animals. We breathe in oxygen. Yes. Now, and then we breathe out carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is taken by plant during the process of photosynthesis, and the plant again release oxygen into the atmosphere, which is again taken in by the animals. So this is known as oxygen cycle. So there are various nutrient cycle. For oxygen cycle it's different, for carbon cycle it's different, for nitrogen cycle it's different. So these different nutrient cycles are also part of the ecosystem. Alright students, we have another question. Please get your rough devices ready. The question is, how does habitat destruction impact wildlife populations? I'm giving you 30 seconds for this question. Your time starts now. How does habitat destruction impact wildlife populations? Or in other words, how does deforestation impact wildlife populations? Yes, students. We have four options. Which of the following option is the correct answer? Alright, students, your time is up. And yes, by the habitat destruction, okay, how does it impact wildlife populations? Option A is it promotes species adaptation. No, right? It does not promote. So this cannot be the right answer. Option B, it enhances biodiversity. Now, when this habitat are destroyed, it cannot enhance biodiversity. It reduces available habitat and food resources. Yes, right? Deforestation or habitat destruction impact wildlife sanctuary because it reduces available habitat and food sources. So the correct answer for this question is option C. It reduces available habitat and food resources. Alright, students, let us see. Conservation of wildlife. Okay, so here we see different animals. Yes, we see tiger, we see elephant. Yes, students. Now, World Wildlife Day is celebrated on 3rd March. Okay, World Wildlife Day is celebrated on 3rd March every year. Activity. This will be your homework, alright, students? Try to collect more information about Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, try to collect more information about Wildlife Protection Act. Now, know this. Okay, know this. International Union of Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, in short known as the IUCN. Okay, this is an organization working in the field of nature conservation. So IUCN is an organization working in the field of nature conservation. Now this organization IUCN, they have published the red list of threatened species. So let us see. We have the red book here. Okay, red data book. In this red data book, the IUCN has record all the endangered plants and animals. Alright, students, we have another question. Please get your rough devices ready. The question is, red data book keeps the record of which of the following? Okay, I'm giving you 15 seconds for this question. Your time starts now. Red data book keeps the record of option A, endangered animals and plants, option B, extinct animals and plants, option C, endemic animals and plants, option D is all of the above. Alright, students, your time is up, and yes, very good. The correct answer is option A, that is endangered animals and plants. So IUCN stands for International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, and this IUCN organization, it has the record of all the endangered data book. So this is the IUCN red list categories. Okay, here we see that there are millions of species, right? There are millions of species on planet Earth. Now, we don't know all the species yet. We have not identified all the species of plants and animals that exist on Earth. So out of all the species, some species are not evaluated. Okay, some species are not evaluated. Now, out of the species which are evaluated, some species, okay, out of this number of species which are being evaluated, some species does not have sufficient data, okay, to place them in any of the given categories. So, out of all the species, some species are not evaluated. Out of the evaluated species, some species do not have sufficient data to categorize them, and out of the species which have adequate data, they are categorized into this group. Okay, they are categorized into this group. So we have the near threatened. Okay, we have the near threatened. There are still lots of species. Okay, Those species which are not threatened, okay, but we are almost threatened, are, or there are lots of species, still lots of species of that species available on the earth, are considered to be near threatened. Then we have the least concern, okay, least concern. So these are out of danger. There are still lots and lots of these species, animal species, which are present in earth. They will come under this near threatened and least concern. Then we have another categories, that is vulnerable, endangered, and critically endangered. Okay, then we have extinct in the wild and we have extinct. Now we have discussed in a previous class that extinct species are the species which are not available, or which cannot be found in our planet Earth anymore. So those are extinct species. Then we have extinct in the wild. Extinct in the wild are those species which are not available, okay, in the wild anymore. But there are few species, few numbers, which are conserved, okay, which are under conserved areas. So there's some few species, like 4 or 5 in number species. Those are considered under this category, that is extinct in the wild. They cannot be found in wild anymore, but they are under protected areas. Critically endangered, okay, critically endangered, and vulnerable. These species, okay, they are still present in planet Earth. They are also present in the wild still, but they are facing the danger of extinction because the number is decreasing. The number of the species are decreasing due to various factors like deforestation, overexploitation, okay, alien species invasion. So according to IUCN red list categories, they are classified into these categories. Okay, for the last two, these species are not evaluated. Some species are not evaluated, and some species, although they are evaluated, there is no sufficient data to categorize them. Okay, all right, students. So that is all for today's class. So in today's class, we have discussed about how do endemic species become endangered. We have also discussed about reserve forests. We have seen what is wildlife sanctuary and what is national park. Now students, we have also differentiated between wildlife sanctuary and national park. Yes students, we have discussed about the Project Tiger, which is a program launched by Indian government for tiger conservation. We have discussed about the threat to wildlife. We have seen that poaching, hunting, capturing of animals are threat to wildlife. Now we have also discussed about ecosystem and its component. Ecosystem consists of two components, it is biotic components, which are the living components, and abiotic components, which are the non-living components. And we have also discussed about the IUCN red list categories. So I hope you are clear with whatever we have discussed today. This leads us to the last question for today. Please get your rough devices ready and respond to this question. How do you feel about today's class? Okay, I'm giving you 10 seconds for this question. Your time starts now. How do you feel about today's class? Alright students, your time is up. Thank you so much for joining today's class. Okay, I will see you again in our next class. Till then, take care everyone and have a nice day.